I just started talking to the owner, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to learn a trade?" And I was like, "Sure." Yeah, I mean, he talked me in. This was on a Saturday. By that Tuesday, I went to work with him, man, not knowing a thing, and it just grew on me. So I walked into it completely by accident, and I fell in love with it.
Hola, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching this live. If you guys join the live chat, I appreciate you guys interacting with me and the guest. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the new channel and help the podcast out by wherever you listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcast, making sure you leave a 5-star review, hopefully, and get the podcast out to more people. We are having good conversations with good people, and I really love doing this. I also want to thank the sponsors of the podcast. We have Jobber, my favorite CRM. I cannot tell you, going from paper invoices to completely digital has completely changed the game for me. I always did all the billing, quoting, trying to get all the prices updated. I can do all that in the palm of my hand with Jobber, and you never have to worry about chicken scratch or physically picking up invoices, anything like that. It's all digital, it's all online, easy to track, getting paid quicker. So if you guys want a free trial and a discount, go check out getjobber.com/reliablehvacr. And VETO Pro Pack, as far as the best tool bags that you can get, be sure to check out VETO's diverse lineup of tool bags. They're built to last. They do have a 5-year warranty if there's any defects. VETOPropack.com. Go check out my profile on their website. I'm super honored to be on that. And you won't be disappointed. Great bags. They're pricey, but they'll last you a long time. And just a quick reminder, if you guys like listening about our work week experiences, our rants about what we do and don't like about work, our tech tips, all of that, join me, Jake, and Curtis, 2 other big YouTubers, on HVAC Nights. We have a weekly live show, so please go check that out. It's a ton of fun. It's laid back. I never know what's going to come up. It's just a spontaneous, uncensored version of what we see out in the field and kind of just our lifestyle. So go check out HVAC Nights and help that channel out. On today's episode, we have Carlo Serafini, owner of Lyon Mechanical, up in Detroit Rock City. Very fascinating to hear all the stuff that they have to deal with up there and all the different, industrial, commercial type of work that they do. Great conversation. Loves to help out the younger techs, all the good stuff, help others. And you may or may not have seen him in a commercial. So enjoy the episode. All right, Carlo, how are you? How's everything?
Hey, it's going pretty well. Busy. We're in our summer season now, of course. We
Yeah,
come
I
out
was
of
gonna
that.
ask if you guys have been busy because I'm Texas. It started like a couple months ago for us. I don't know how it gets because you're in Detroit, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's been kind of it was a weird spring. We got really warm in February. It was like 60, even some 70s. And March and April came and we went to the 40s. Even part of May was rough. So, of course, Memorial Day comes. It gets up to 90 degrees, and here
Okay.
goes the AC's breaking down, and everybody's, going from, 40 hours to 70. And, I can already see they're tired a bit already.
So your the range is there. Like you said, it goes 40 and then it gets up to 90 when it
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
heating up.
Yeah, you could go from Michigan's parts of the year, you could go from heat in the morning to AC in the afternoon. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I've been to those houses when I was in the field. I did a heat call in the morning, believe it or not, in the afternoon. They have a blown capacitor and a condenser. So
Oh wow. I guess I never thought of it like that. Like for states up north, I always thought like it's either cold all day or hot all day. Because like here we get those weird weather swings, but it's like I don't think it's that drastic. It's not like 40. It doesn't even get to 40 here. It gets to like
right,
50 or 60 at the most, and then like
right,
it'll warm up. And I live off the coast, so we get the rain, all the storms and stuff like that. So it could be like raining in the morning or something like that, and then like be just super sunny in the afternoon. That's the kind of weather we deal with. But
sure.
I've never done a no heat and a no cool in the same day.
Oh dang, maybe you have to fly up here and experience one of those days in the spring or fall. It keeps it interesting, that's for sure.
Well, I'll
So
be honest. When I watch other people's videos, content, whatever it is that they do, I'm more interested in like the no heat stuff because we don't see it. Like, it's hot here all year round. We have some
sure,
winters. We have some winters that are like 70s, and that's like our winter for the year. And we just don't have a lot of heating calls. So that's the stuff that I end up watching or kind of trying to look into because it's not something that I actually work on. I can't tell you the last time I worked even on a gas furnace or a gas RTU.
wow,
Everything's electric, and honestly, around here, like when it gets a little bit cool outside, we just shut off the AC unit and open up a
sure.
window or something.
Yeah, right. I mean, that would be nice. The ironic thing is you would think a homeowner panics when their heat's out. Actually, it's usually just the opposite. They'll tend to put up with the no heat more than they will when their AC goes out. Man, then it's drop everything what you're doing.
Oh
Mach
yeah.
10 won't fix it.
Oh yeah, man. We get it's pretty normal now to get like 110 to 115 here on a daily basis. So that's what we're
Yeah,
dealing with.
yeah, that's pretty toasty. That's for sure. I know I've been down in parts of Texas in the summer. It
And
can
it's so
get pretty
weird
hot.
because Texas is, and I know people like you would have to be here to understand because every time somebody comes down, because I had Ben Poole come down for like a thing at Insco and a couple other guys from like Austin because I'm even like 6 hours away or so from Austin, right? I'm south of that.
Sure.
So Texas is like so big that you have like these regions, and every region gets a different type of weather and stuff. So like I'm by the coast, like I said, and all that. I have high humidity, so it just feels ugly, right? When it's like
Yeah.
90 something here versus 90 something up north. And I asked those guys when they came down here, and I'm like, so how does it feel? Like, is it the same? They're like, no, this is horrible. I don't know how you deal with it. And I'm used to it because we were like in the back of the warehouse because they had served like food and all that. And it's cool. Like I'm used to it, and they're out there like I can't do this. I got to go back in the AC.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can imagine too. You probably don't have a lot of basements here, so you're in the attics a lot and stuff too.
Uh,
That could be
I I hats off to everybody who does residential, especially where I'm at or in Texas or
real.
any hot state, right? I just don't want to do attics. I've been wanting to go up in mine and actually, put a thermometer and see what it gets up to cuz like our rooftops get 120 or so, right? I can
Right.
imagine what an attic is. I will never do that. I'm comfortable on a rooftop or in a kitchen, and I'm just gonna like stay in my lane. If like I said, hats off to anybody who does residential and has to deal with the attics because we don't have any basements. Everything is mostly in an attic. You get lucky when you do have a an indoor unit in a closet. That's like the best part if you find one of those because you don't have to get
Yeah,
in the attic. But it's everything is usually in the attic.
absolutely. That was, gosh, the first. I mean, I've been doing this stuff since 1993, right? So right out of high school, and I started in residential. That was that summer. When you're an apprentice, it's like get in the attic, get in the crawl space, run
Oh,
line
I
set.
do that to anybody that works with us that's younger than me. I'm like, you get up there.
Yeah, it was like putting your dues in, right? And then,
Oh yeah.
yeah, then I got into commercial, just like it's just either you're in a kitchen with kitchen equipment breaking down or rooftops. So that has its own, um, hot spots too. So
I I don't know. Like when I started, like everything is like a shock to you, right? It's like I've never dealt with heat like this. Like I never worked outside like this. I never worked in the kitchen across from either a pizza oven or a just like a stove or griddle or whatever it is they're cooking. And then these kitchens are usually super narrow, right? Your refrigeration equipment is usually right next to a fryer or something like that, or it's underneath the stove, or it's like your back is right up against the stove or whatever they're cooking on. So you're sweating in the kitchen trying to work on the refrigeration and you feel the heat and all that. I've never, before that, I mean, I worked in the grocery store, so I had never done stuff like this, right? I just
sure,
jumped into it because my dad had been doing it. And you get that shock initially, like, oh man, do I really want to do this? But then, like, I don't know, it grew on me. I love what I do, and specifically, the kitchen stuff and being on the rooftop and being able to. It's hot as hell, especially in the summer with those with that sun. But I like being by myself up there and kind of solving problems and dealing with it.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So you you co-own a business now, right? Can you give us like a little introduction of who you are and kind of what you guys do over at Lyon Mechanical?
Yeah, yeah. My name is Carlo Serafini. I'm actually one of the co-owners here of Lyon Mechanical. I've been here since 2020, right? So they say I got in the field in 1993, kind of worked for three, four other companies, and I knew the owner here, and he wanted to retire. It was a family business, so um, he hired me in 2020 to be a project manager. So after about a year, getting his trust, he's very detailed, very structured guy. I bought his half out, and then so what we do here is a lot of commercial and industrial, which is was a lot different than where I came from. I was residential, light commercial, so the industrial was a whole new ball game. I mean, gosh, started seeing ductwork, 50-inch spiral ductwork, and some monster makeup air units, and I mean, you're talking some big stuff. So not only do we do HVAC, we do plumbing too and process piping. So we're doing everything from coolant towers. We can do from setting the unit to piping it. We piped up to 12-inch pipe for process cooling. Um, so we kind of do a little bit of everything, and now we're actually infusing some electrical in here too. So it gets, and I'll still project manage
Yeah.
too. So, but between being an owner and project managing, and I'll still go out and sell the job, from site visits and all that. So, I'm trying to teach a few of the younger guys a little bit what goes into it here, because here we have a wide range. We have guys from 19 years old up to 60, right? So the guys 60, they've been here like 40 plus years. And then, of course, then you got the new guy, he's 19. So, yeah, they're all great guys and got a great staff here from guys, girls, they're amazing. We kind of just do it one way. We're very detailed, and we also are part union too. So that plays into all of that too, right? So it's fun. It keeps me on my feet for sure. I mean, after Tuesday be 31 years I've done this, and I'm actually having a lot of fun. I still have the fire and passion for it.
I know it's hard to lose that part of it because I've seen it firsthand. Like my dad, my grandpa, like they wanted to work until they just can't. This podcast is presented by Local. Local works tirelessly to help HVAC contractors rank higher on Google. They use an attack methodology to make sure that contractors dominate their local service areas and increase their market share and generate higher revenue. Reach out to local at localhq.com/reliable. Mention me or the Reliable HVACR podcast, and you'll get 2 months of SEO for free. SPECTROLINE leak detection, the highest quality and brightest fluorescent leak detection products on the market. Get the job done right with their 2-in-1 premium UV dye and powerful AC sealant Glow Seal. I've actually used it. You can extend the lifespan of your equipment, find and seal the smallest and hardest to find leaks. It works 24/7. Once it's in, it's always on. This product works when you're not there. The only focused leak detection company with success in many industries, because believe it or not, it's in most vehicles out on the road right now. So if you guys want to find out more, go to spectroline.com and let me know what your favorite leak detection method is. And
Yeah.
I'll probably be the same way because I mean, I run a business here with my dad, right? We like he does the cooking side, I do the HVAC side, and just being or doing this, talking to other people, there's some people that are business owners and they only are overseeing things, or they only do things a certain way, and like they grow the company, like, which is great. Like some people are, that's what they want to do. That's great. I don't see myself doing that. Probably see myself as the company grows, still being in the field in some way or fashion, kind of like what you're talking about. Like I don't think I would ever sit back. And my dad was the same way at his previous job because um, they came, they had they butted heads, all this other stuff because they wanted him in a manager position in an office all day, overseeing stuff and kind of just because he was basically the main guy at that company, and they kind of wanted him just to sit back, and he couldn't. He was upset about it, and he wanted to be out in the field, and that's why he started his own business. I
Right.
would like for him to kick back a little bit now because he's a little bit older, but I'm just looking at him. I'm just like I'm probably gonna be the same way. Can't see myself out of the field like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Once it's in your blood, I know you probably feel the same thing, man. I still see some of the guys that trained me when I was 18 years old. It's like to me, not only is it a trade, and you learn everything from, gosh, HVAC, plumbing to wiring, everything. I mean, it's a brother and it's a brotherhood too, and lots of respect and appreciation for, everybody, all guys and girls out there doing it. I
It's
have the
it's very
utmost respect
valuable.
for.
Yeah, it's very valuable too, like the stuff that you learn because you can. I think HVAC tech can do anything, right? Like you said, we do a
Mhm.
lot of different little things here and there in our
Yep.
own line of work, and it's like what can't we do? So I like it. I
Hmm.
like the skill. I think it's a great career, and even if my kids don't get into it, I would like to kind of
Hmm.
teach them, how to use tools, and then kind of just give them an overview of the stuff. I can't wait because I just right now that it's summer, I'm going to the supply house picking up stuff, and I started seeing people like taking their teenagers with them. You can tell that they just got out on summer break and they're having to tag along with their dad. I'm like, I can't wait to do that when mine are old enough. I'm gonna make them come along with me, ride along, and kind of get into it a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, speaking of that, I have a son. He'll be 15 in October, and gosh, I took him out since he was probably 8 or 9 years old. About 2 years ago, one of the customers I used to have when I owned my residential company before Lyon, they called for no heat, and I just sat up with the homeowner at the table. I gave him the tools and let him take a shot at it with the meter. And I mean, it was an igniter. It was a pretty easy one, but lo and behold, the kid comes up to the thermostat and he turns it up, and we're sitting at the table having a coffee, and we felt heat coming through the register. And I mean, he
He
nailed
got
it.
it.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. So I could see his confidence growing, and now he'll be a freshman in high school, and he definitely wants to, kind of follow the footsteps. But he says, "Hey, I'll work my way from ground level up." He doesn't. want that stigma of, hey, my dad owns something. He wants to kind of earn it, right? Which
Yeah,
I respect.
I went through that because, and I felt, oh, I had this conversation yesterday with my other guest because he opened up his own business and he's really young, and I'm like, how does, how do people see you? Because, you know when they see a young owner or somebody that, like you said, like is the son of the owner, like that's kind of like you said, a stigma. It's hard to shake. So
Yeah,
when I started, it was my dad's company, right? I don't remember, I was like 20, I think, when I started. So I got into it as a helper, apprentice. And even before that, like before I decided to get into it, I was helping him like design logos because I was good with computers. I made flyers and business cards for him. Like I got to help him on the computer kind of stuff. And then I finally got into it, right? I went to go help with the cooking equipment, like changing out thermal piles, thermocouples, like whatever it was, pilots and stuff like that. And then I got into schooling, got my HVAC, certificate, whatever it's called, associates. And then I got back into it, and we picked up a lot of refrigeration work. And then I got my license and all that. So I'm
nice.
I'm out there. I'm out there, as a, I don't know. I was probably like not even 25 or 25 at the time, and these people, I deal with a lot of business, like managers and area managers and even owners. We knew a lot of the owners of these restaurants, like the IHOPs and stuff, because they were always around. And it took a while for them to take me seriously, right? Because like they see a kid, and I'm like,
Mm,
I know it's my dad's company, but like I'm the one running the HVAC side. Like my dad doesn't.
sure,
My dad gives me like free reign on that because he doesn't know anything about it, and it just took a while. But
sure.
I always had, since I went to school, I always had that. Like you said, it if you build that confidence, that's what helps you, and the customer will see that
Yeah,
because I had the confidence of being able to talk my way out of things. Right, I was like, okay, let me walk you through what we did here. Let me show you what it is. I can get as technical as you want, and just be confident because it took me a while to be confident in my work. I always second guessed, my troubleshooting and diagnostics and stuff. I was like, I think it's this. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Like, it took me a while to get comfortable, but and I told another guy this, like, don't be cocky, but be confident, right? Because that's the way
sure.
you're going to kind of build up that reputation and show the
Yeah,
customer that you know what you're doing.
yeah, absolutely. That's you hit the nail on the head there. I always tell most of the young guys I'll interview and bring them on. I like that, and I believe in that. Get a kid out of trade school. I'll get them even out of high school. Him or her. And I will always teach them. There's a difference in confident and cocky. And I could teach you anything. You just got to have a work ethic and a drive. And boy, it just, and I told him, once and you do it repetitive over and over, you'll get your confidence. That to me, that's rewarding to watch a young guy come in. I would like to record him from day one, then show him 5 years from now, and you watch the growth, and it's exciting, And at this part of the career, I mean, the business, keeps growing. You got to just keep bringing in the talent because, none of us are getting any younger. That's for sure.
Oh, I know. I think eventually, because we're trying to figure out how to grow. And like I said earlier, like some people, they want a full fleet, a full, like, everything. Like I like being a small business personally. My dad does too. But eventually we're gonna have to grow. Like every year we've um just being four guys with a helper sometimes, like we've doubled our work like pretty consistently. Like we are so backed up right now. Like it's a good
Yeah,
problem to have. But at some point we are gonna have to start growing a little bit, right?
sure.
So I've been trying to figure out that part of it, and I think I would love to, take someone younger, like you said, maybe out of a trade school or something like that, and just do some sort of a apprenticeship program or something like that, where I can kind of just train some guys, get some help, especially during the summer, and then like if they want to stay or they want to go, I mean, it's up to them. but I kind of want to
Sure.
get into that now. I feel pretty good about being able to train people right now, so I think that's the route we're
Yeah.
going to end up going, um,
Sure.
and do it that way.
That's I always say that too. And like, gosh, I mean, now they have all these. I see it every day. I'm on, same groups with you on, Instagram. They have social media, and it's like they have their own online portfolio of their work, and
Oh yeah, which
it's
is
kind
great.
of
I see a lot of people, and I'm like, I wish you lived where I lived because I would
yeah,
hire you on the spot, right? Like
no doubt.
I've always been confident that I can fix whatever's put in front of me, but like some of these guys online, like their installs or their change outs or like some of their work that they do, like it's like perfect.
Yeah,
Like I'm like that's way better than I would have done it, right? And
absolutely.
I've told so many people like I wish you worked here, man. I would hire you on the spot.
Yeah, I know. I see that same thing. It's like, gosh, I mean, I respect that a lot. So that's another thing that they have going forward. I don't frown on my guys doing that. Some companies do, and I'm like, hey, as long as they're using that for teaching material or recruiting material, and it gives them that sense of pride in their work. I mean,
Well,
how could
that's what I
you?
was gonna say. It's about like it's because they're proud of it, right? Like they want to be better, they want to do better, and there's a there's progress, right? I mean, they might do it, really good at one point, do the photos and whatever they want to post and stuff, and then maybe they want to be better next time, and it just goes from there. Like, and I've told people because uh, there's some that are new that watch and listen to this and that message me, and you're gonna improve, daily if you take pride in it. And you might not see the difference, but like if you look at yourself and like you mentioned that you would like to kind of show people like when they started versus where they are now. Like that progression you don't see it day to day, but if you look like when started 5 years ago or something like that, and you look at it years later, like you're a completely different technician. Like you've
Uh,
improved, and the improvement you'll see it over years. And as long as you take pride in it, I think that's the most important part. That's
yeah,
what separated me when I started, because I got that from my dad, his work ethic and all that. So like I was like, well, if he's doing this, I got to do that with my stuff too. I got to make it clean. I got to, you know, make it presentable and whatever. And, that's what helped me because I try not to talk bad about any other company. But if I go in there and the customer gives me compliments that the other company didn't do this or didn't do that, or they like the way I work, I like to hear that. Today's episode is also brought to you by NAVIEN. If you haven't seen it yet, NAVIEN has entered the HVAC space in a big way with the new NPF hydro furnace. This hydronic forced air furnace delivers industry leading variable capacity operation from 15 to 100% in both natural and propane configurations. You can learn more at navieninc.com. And DIVERSITECH. They simplify your work. They have everything that a technician needs to get a job done. I do want to point out that they do have a Simplify Your Summer Challenge. I will leave all the information in the description. If you go over to their Instagram, this challenge is basically a chance to win an ultimate HVACR bundle with over 25 unique products from their DIVERSITECH lineup. This includes Hillmore, Swoosh, the Spin Bits. They have the Pro thermostats. They have the Master Care cleaning solutions. They have so many products. All you have to do to enter is share your work with at least 3 products from any of their lineups in a reel or post and tag them and include the hashtag simplify your summer. So go check that out, go enter, and thanks again for sponsoring the channel and doing this awesome summer giveaway from DIVERSITECH.
we just did an install here about 6 weeks ago, and I put that thing in 1994, right? I mean, it was a furnace and air. Believe me, it was when 90 percenters first came out. They're heavy as could be back then, and it lasted that long, about 30 years, right? And then I saw on the sticker, I was shocked. I remember the house, and we went there, and I was like, "You see that? I did that back then, and it's like, wow." And they're like, wow. I mean, now they see the difference. I mean, pro press fittings and that. I go, no, I torched that by hand. That was R22, and it's crazy. I mean, gosh, when I started, we were still doing R12 units. And that's wild, isn't it?
Jeez.
I
Yeah.
still see kitchens with R12. God, I wish I would have bought a couple pallets of that in the day, but
I came
um,
across an R12 unit a few weeks ago, and I had to convert it to 134.
yeah,
And if people like have been listening, because I talked or I vented about this on HVAC nights. I didn't want the job because it was an old system, and
yeah,
I was doing it as a favor because the other company wanted to sell them a whole new like walk-in box and stuff.
mm-hmm,
And I looked at it, I'm like, man, I was like, technically, because the compressor I think was grounded or something. I was like,
uh-huh,
technically we can replace it. I just have to do a conversion and change out the TXV and all that. And
mm-hmm,
I gave a bid on it, and I was like, I hadn't heard from them in a while, and then they finally called me like a month later. Can you do that bid and this and that? I'm like, I was like, all right, like I can, just
yeah,
really didn't, kind of didn't want to, but it worked. They were happy. They even left us a review and everything. So I mean,
sure,
it's you if you do the work right. I mean, it can be done. And to
yeah,
your point right now about going back to a unit you installed, I actually had. I mean, I didn't install this unit, but I worked on it was a Rude or Ream unit, RTU, and we at the time we had to replace the condenser coil because it had cracked or something. It was a aluminum microchannel. This was like, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. And we just got that customer back because it was a pizza place, and it was a little bit out of town, and we had stopped doing work for them. And I go up to the roof, and I'm like, I've been here, or I've that's the same unit I worked on, and it had been working all this time. It just now they have other leaks in it, and I might have to recommend a new unit this time. I'm gonna go back tomorrow to kind of do the full teardown of it. But yeah, I mean, I was like, I worked on that one. I got that one going, with a condenser coil, and it was cool to see that it was still running. Like it still worked, just a little bit low on Freon.
sure. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
And the one
yeah,
next to it was like in worse shape, but I mean, it still works, right? Some of this
yep,
equipment will get you 20 to 30 years.
right, absolutely. That
Now
was,
when you started, or you said you had R12, I remember because now I feel old that we're doing the phase out for 410, right? Because that was
yeah,
brand new. I don't know what was it, like 20 years ago or
yeah,
a
that
little
was
bit
the
more.
refrigerant. Remember when it first came out? That was going to be the forever refrigerant.
Back when it was super simple at that time, man. I only
Yeah,
had to carry like 3 tanks, I think, of like
yeah,
because I did refrigeration, right? And
yeah,
now I can't even carry all my tanks. I have to pick and choose what I'm gonna take, for
yeah,
that day.
absolutely. Yeah,
So,
same with us. We do chillers, so we have like 407C, and I mean, we have every color possible in the
I
jug
have
too. It's
I have
wild.
that one too because I do a lot of conversions.
Wow. Yeah, it's wild,
And I think
that's
I think the one before 404 was like 502 or something. I remember I saw
yeah.
a few of those when I started too,
Uh-huh.
and much simpler times.
Yes. Yes. I mean, sometimes I miss that, like there's a couple extra steps now, and what I see now is the furnaces have gotten shorter, but the AC units has gotten taller, right? So
Oh, dude,
my
we
God,
just had one a couple weeks ago. Um, we were gonna install. Well, we did install it, but we had to go back. The original unit, I didn't get the year off of it or anything. Like, my dad or one of the guys kind of handled the change, not the change up, but like getting the new one. So I
hmm,
showed up to help out, like install it and everything, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so much taller. And we had to redo the frame that it sat on, and then it was like we had this little hallway to it, right? Because they installed a walk-in box right in front of it. So getting it in and then kind of tilting it in, and I don't know, it was a whole deal. And I was like, the old one was so compact and simple, but the new one is like so much taller, and we had to make. That's another thing that I will give the residential guys, like all the modifications you got to do for that especially
Uh-huh.
like retrofitting, like what we're talking about. I don't have to deal with that on the daily because if I do a change out, it's just on the rooftop, like for like. Curb adapter is the most complicated thing I have to do. I
Uh-huh.
residential guys with their modifications, I'm like I'm good.
Yeah, all that sheet metal, three, four-sided transitions. I mean, I learned all that by hand, so I could still, I'll still, if I go out and make a fitting with a guy, I can do it on site by hand, and they just look at that like, wow, because it's all machines and layouts now, and plasma tables. Like, I didn't have that luxury. So
No, when I went to school, they purposely told us we're gonna make you do it by hand, and they're like, you when you get out there, you're gonna be able to have them do it or a machine or whatever it is, but you're gonna do it by hand, so you know how to do that out in the field. I am grateful for that because I learned everything by hand. I was gonna say down here, I don't know where else people see ductboard. I only see ductboard. We don't have any metal whatsoever. And I know a lot of guys are like, how come you like deal with that? Like metal's better and this and that. I'm like, I don't know. It might be a climate thing, but like all we see is ductboard. So ductboard
sure.
is what I know how to cut,
Uh-huh.
do my 90s offsets. Like I did all that in school. I don't have the tools to do it because we don't do any ductboard or duct work. But
Mm,
I had to do like 3 jobs last week of redoing the ductboard, but I kind of did it my own way. And
yep.
yeah, so you guys are metal up there too?
Metal, and then we do ductboard too, on especially the high velocity systems. Remember they had the Unico systems out for a while. That was all around ductboard, and
Okay.
yeah, I still have the tools to shave all those, the lefts and the rights, and that and putting it together. Yeah, that's something too. We see a little bit of it in attics here, but so the only downside here is living with a lot of woods is if there's a varmint in the attic and they get inside of that, and then
We have to
that's not a
do.
pretty sight. That's for sure.
I think that's what we were dealing with because we went to one where we had to redo some of the supplies and the vents because they had holes in them. I was like, something
Hmm.
ate through it. I'm
Right.
not gonna say anything out loud, because we're in a restaurant, but something ate through it.
Uh huh.
Um,
That's a,
so how big is the company that you guys have right now?
right now we have about 10 guys, honestly, and like three, four girls here in the office, and boy, we definitely need more. I got some huge projects coming up. School's out now, so I sold a couple VRF systems, and those take some time. And old school, we're pulling out like 50-year-old boiler, and then it's kind of cool. It's in an up and coming part of Detroit, so the word got out, and now all of a sudden, I was expecting to get one. Well, now we have three of them at the same time. So, and I'm trying to expand into Miami, Florida, and in Washington, D.C. too. I got a couple clients needing work, so I definitely need triple the company here soon. So,
That's what I was actually gonna ask you because I could have sworn I saw you say something about that. So you guys are gonna try to service these other locations?
yeah, yeah, I've been going down to like Miami for probably about 7, 8 years, and built some pretty good relationships down with like Bentley and all that. They're all moving their headquarters in there. It's hard to find talent or something there. So they saw your work, and I helped a buddy out with a big job last year up on a 70-story building with a monster helicopter lift, and people were just wanting our cards. And Miami is a cool place to go. And then DC, I picked up a couple clients too. I get out there quite a bit. I'm in a long distance relationship with the lady that lives there, so every time I go there, I'm networking too, and I think like she would like me to get a few more projects there,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's So it's good. I want to do like all three markets, but of course, Detroit is there's a major renaissance. Everything is um, rebuilding,
Yeah.
new here. It's actually a really cool town, though. I mean, I've been going down there for like 10 years, and every day there's a new building going up. So,
That kind of
or,
sounds like around here because like I'm from a small like town and it's like grown, every year or like it'll grow, but recently like I don't know, there's like a boom or something because like there's they're filling like because like we're in the middle of nowhere or we used to be. It's
hmm
a lot of land, a lot of empty lots and stuff like that. I feel like this year, like it's gone crazy. Like they're filling in every empty spot, every piece of land that has been there for like decades. Like they're filling them in, right? And
hmm
then it's like a running joke here because we're getting like a car wash in every corner, storage units, and like coffee shops. Those are the three main ones that are just like popping up on every corner. Um,
absolutely,
a lot of apartments and a lot of subdivisions are popping up too, which is crazy to me. But it's just like
yeah,
it's like a good year to be in a in a trade right now because like everything's booming and yeah, man, like I've seen so many buildings going up this year.
yeah. And you'll notice they're always looking for trades. I get asked, "Hey, do you want to bid this?" And sometimes you don't even find out till like 3 or 4 days before the bid due date because they can't get a person or a company to do it. So it's like, wow, I got 4 days to bid a
I had a
huge.
I had a buddy that wanted it like that day. Like he found
Wow.
us. I was like, I can't, dude. Like it's short notice.
Yeah, there's one too. There's a contractor I work with out of Missouri, and they do a bunch of CVS stores, and their contractor bailed at the last minute. So Monday night now we have to go in after the store closes and work all night because they can't close during the day and switch out some units. And I mean, I haven't done a midnight shift in a long time, so that's something different. But yeah, it's fun to do all that. I still go out with the guys and do the work, right? So they really don't complain when the owner's out doing it with them, and
Yeah.
it's cool to figure something out. I'll try to let them figure it out so long, and then I'll step in and teach them. So um, it is definitely a respect thing, and then I think they respect you more. You're not the guy just pushing the pencil in the office. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah, like
still get.
we have a guy that and you mentioned earlier like, not to talk or like your guys are, doing what they can and getting work done. I have a guy that when we were talking about attics like the other day, like I said, we've been doing duct work. I did an easy one, I'll admit, because it was right where the drop ceiling, like I just had to move over some tiles and I was able to, redo the part that I needed to do. And the was it yesterday? No, Friday. We had another one to do. His water was coming through the duct and everything. It had fallen apart. And my one of our guys, best worker that we have, I have to get after him sometimes because like he wants to take some shortcuts. I understand he's tired. I always tell him if you're too if you're burnt out or out of it, tell me because we need to give our guys like breaks and stuff. Um, so like he's a worker though. He was in that little. It's not a house attic where it's probably like 140. Like it wasn't that hot, but it was a drop ceiling in a restaurant, and he stayed up there the whole time, just redoing that duct. And then we had a call come in out of town, and he volunteered. I mean, I understand he wants the overtime pay, so all it's all good for him. But I was like, you know what? I'll go out there with you too. So we went out of town, and I worked till like 9 o'clock at night. And like you said, I haven't had that in a long time,
Right.
because we've kind of kept it under control, and we try to alternate our overtime and all that. And for the most part, it's we've been able to, especially with maintenance, kind of control that kind of stuff. But I went out there and helped him out, figured out whatever it was, and then we got back, and then I worked yesterday. I think you said you worked today, right?
Yeah, it's great.
So
It's
we're
wild.
still out there.
Yep. Yeah, that's gosh, even last Saturday I had a client and his sewage pump in the parking lot for a big food distributor started backing up, and I had to be the first one there and find out it was all plugged up with grease. So had my hands on a sewer pump last Saturday. So it's like, you got to do what it takes, and clients see that, and you know, you got them for life when you just be. I always tell that to the young guys. I remember being on calls, you're the voice, when they hear, even if you can't get there in 5 or 10 minutes, just them knowing you're coming, just it relaxes them and it earns a respect with the company, right? Even your technician alone, right? They'll be like, gosh, Joe or Jesse came here, at this time, and you'll get a review on Yelp or Google, whatever it be, and
Yeah.
it's integrity, So we
Well,
try to we try to instill that.
yeah, well, we have a name to live up to. My dad chose Reliable as the company name. It's Reliable Kitchen for the company, but
Mhm.
uh, that's the first thing they always tell us. Like my dad's real adamant about either like a quick response time, to kind of schedule it, or same day service. We try to do the same day service, or at least to go look at it. Um, and then the first thing they always tell us is like, "Man, you guys really are reliable." So I mean, that's the name we have to live up to.
That's the best, right? And that's another thing. It's almost like washing your car on a rainy day, right? The minute when you're a technician, you sit down and have your dinner, your phone's going to go off easy. For us, we used to be pagers in the day, would go off the minute you sit down for dinner, or that it was like boom, you had to go, right? So
Yeah, and I do the billing for my dad. Like he takes care of some of the business side, but I do like the billing and kind of the document stuff. And every now and then he's like, "Why haven't you done, or why haven't you sent out any invoices? What's going on?" I'm like, "If you would give me like a few minutes to sit down at a desk, like yeah, like we're getting like you said the calls, especially during the summer, like I get backed up on everything. Um,
sure.
and that phone like it just doesn't stop ringing."
It doesn't stop, man. It's like, yeah, then the office. I mean, the guys, man, I'll be here sometimes 8, 9, 10 at night, especially if I'm on a bid deadline, right? Like, I had one I
Yeah.
did for a big company, and they do a lot of lithium battery plants here in Michigan, and there was a new one being built. I had from 4 o'clock on a Friday. My deadline was midnight that night to get that bid in. I mean, I was crunching down. 11:20 comes, and the project manager's like, "Are you close?" And I ripped that thing out. I think it was like 11:50 at night, but it turned into getting the job, and the client. But I mean, let me tell you, the paperwork. I always tell the guys like I would switch them a lot, and be like, do the paperwork and the bidding. Like I could go out and do calls, and I want to really do a challenge like that this summer. We're gonna flip the script here, and I'm gonna go be a tech and have them do my job for a day and just kind of show them, Um,
Yeah. I mean, it's when you have to deal with both sides, it's a lot of hats to wear, and you don't realize how busy you get having to do like the stuff that's not in the field. It keeps you just as busy and whatnot. And
sure.
yeah, I get frustrated when those calls keep coming and I'm trying to get some work done at the desk, and I'm like, man, I just need a few minutes.
Just to breathe, right? Sure.
I had seen on your Instagram you guys were working like an underground tunnel of some sort. Can you talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. It's a place down here. It's in just south of Detroit, right? It's very industrial there. So what they do is it's a limestone plant, right? So the boats come in off of the Detroit River from Canada and bring a bunch of limestone. So they run a conveyor through that tunnel. So it's limestone or coal, and they have to have the coal to keep the ovens going for the limestone all winter long. And so there's makeup air systems in there, and or whoever put it in, probably back in the 60s, they just cut a hole and dumped a makeup air system through the side. So this tunnel, it wasn't going all the way down the tunnel. So I redesigned it, put in a makeup air and some axial fans to push both ends. Because by the time you got to the ends, it was just water and rats. And it was freezing, and it's a trip down there because that tunnel is like a mile and a half long, and you watch the conveyor and you're walking. When you come out, you almost feel like that. It's like you're a drunk guy coming out of there, right?
Oh,
So it's a trip. I mean, for sure. But they're a good client. It's a dirty place, and trust me, when they're moving, I was lucky that day they were moving coal and not limestone. Or I mean,
oh,
I would have looked like. And I've been in there when they've done that, and you look like a ghost coming out. I mean, you get in your vehicle, and I'll take my personal vehicle down there, a truck, and I absolutely, when I go to that place, it gets, you need a detailing after.
oh,
Um,
really?
Limestone, I mean, it packs the units. It's incredible. Like we've actually had to enclose the units there, just keep the coils from caking up. I mean, they were getting 4 or 5 years and replacing the units, and it was insane, right? And it's like, so yeah, that place is very. It's actually called Caramuse. They have one in Michigan, Detroit area, all the way down to Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Um, Very very big corporation. Like we do, we're actually inside another one too. Is we do chiller work, so we get a lot of the breweries and like Pepsi Cola and stuff like that. So just doing the chiller work too get you in a whole new market. You'd be surprised how many people don't work on them, right? So it's like they're like kind of like the bread and butter here. I mean, but we get to go in some cool places because of it, like I mean, you do a taste test at Pepsi. I mean, you could be in a brewery and try every beer, right?
Yeah,
It's
even here because like we do hospital work, but we don't touch like the chillers or anything like that. We try to stick to the kitchen. So
sure,
they do have a company that does like that kind of work. And I think they do like refrigeration as well. Like they kind of do like I guess what you guys offer like different services.
sure,
And there is very few companies that I see around here that actually do that kind of work. So like it is I mean, I wouldn't want to get into it personally, but like it is like something you don't see companies offering too much around here either.
sure. Yeah, even a hospital, we do them too. And I mean, even an MRI machine, what people don't know is they run off of a chiller. I mean, and there's only certain times we can shut those down, and they
Yeah.
want it done. Like, I mean, that gets kind of stressful. Like, I'll actually go out, help the techs, because that's something. If it's down more than a couple hours, they're they're tripping out because MRIs are scheduled months and months in advance, right? So it's like that's a high pressure end, and after they get a little more experience, I mean, I'll bring a younger tech in there just to kind of show them, and it's an eye opener for them, I'm like, hey, you're not going to really have too much time to record right now. It's like just like it's go time, but
Oh yeah,
um,
like hospital work, and there are certain times that I mean I do the whole YouTube thing. I don't record at certain places just because I need to finish the job quickly. But um, that's why we don't. We used to do more at the hospital, right? Because when you think about HVACR, it really does a lot. Like you said, the MRI machine. I didn't even think about that, to be honest. Um, there's so much stuff that uses some sort of refrigeration equipment or HVAC equipment, and at the hospital, um, the reason why we don't do any of the other stuff is because it was very stressful, and I don't like I didn't I it's only and before it was only like three of us. Right now it's four. We've had other guys that have come and gone to help us out, but like for the most part, it's just been a small group of us, and that includes like all the coolers and freezers for whether it's medicine or hazardous material, liquids, like whatever they carry up in the other stories. The morgue, that's something that we would get called on quite a bit. There's different aspects of that job, and we're like, we have to bow out. Stick. We're like, if you have any issues with the kitchen, that's kind of our expertise. And now they got us back into it, but only doing like the ice machine. So like every floor has like a couple ice machines, so we're gonna start doing that now. But I was like,
Uh-huh.
that I can deal with, right? Like I'm okay. Like ice machine, it's not a big deal. But like you said, some stuff is priority, and
Sure.
hospitals want that stuff done like quick.
Absolutely. Yeah, ice machines too. We do that too, and that's the young guys, they freak out with that a little bit. I mean, they're like, "Wow, I've never eaten an ice cube again."
Oh,
Just
when you take it apart, the first time you actually see what it looks like.
yeah. Yeah, you could tell who hasn't kept up with the maintenance and stuff, and then like, yeah, time
And
to
they
time I'll order no ice too.
so do you guys do but do you guys do restaurants too or no?
Yeah, yeah, we do restaurants like makeup airs, exhausters, that stuff.
Because I have
We
some
do
restaurants that won't even put a. They argue with us that they don't need a water filter on their ice machine, and they haven't done maintenance in so long. And then I just go over there. I'm like, okay, like
yeah.
watch this real quick, right? Take it apart. I'm like, it should not blue. It's like black, right, everywhere. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
there is everything is white. There should not even be any sort of color here. But like,
Any
you need maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing I see a lot, and it's that stigma, right? Well, I got city water, I don't need to filtrate it. But I mean, we do like wastewater plants here, with their pumps and all that stuff too, and their HVAC there. And let me tell you, the chemicals in the city water just get up in a solenoid and cake them up from chlorine to potassium, right? I mean, they plug solid. Guess what? No water is going in the ice machine. How many issue is on an ice machine when it breaks? It's probably water or lack of maintenance. Michigan here, we got to be surrounded by Great Lakes. You would be surprised how hard our water is, right? So it's like, man, they're putting 8 or 9 additives at the wastewater plant. It cakes up everything after a while. It's insane.
Yeah, because we deal with like a lot of stuff too, like as far as like dishwashers and stuff like that. Like everything, anything that has water in it needs so much maintenance to be cleaned
Mm-hmm.
out often and all that. So
Sure.
I just think it's funny because I've had a few customers and they're always the bigger chains, the bigger restaurants, like the more well known ones that are like no, like they're trying to cut corners.
Uh huh.
I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you need a filter at least, and you need to have us at least come out, on a schedule, whatever few months it is to clean these out. Because I mean,
Yep.
nobody sees the inside of an ice machine, so I mean, I guess that's where they get away with it. But as soon as you open
Yeah.
that thing up, it's full of so much stuff.
Oh yeah, and then they figure those chain places they have their own maintenance guy, but I mean you could tell he's kind of not looked at that filter in a while, and it's like I usually used to mark and date them, and I'd ask, well, what about the filter? Oh no, I just changed that, and you'd go out there and it's 6 months old. It's like wow.
Sometimes you'll see
So
them like a year old, and it's crazy.
yeah, yeah, that's an easy call at that point.
You do HVAC. You've been doing it. You said since you got out of was it high school,
High
and
school,
you
yeah.
jumped into it.
I jumped into it by accident too. I just
I
grad.
feel like that's everybody's story. Like nobody
Yeah,
purposely goes into HVAC.
it's crazy. I graduated high school, and a girl I graduated with had a graduation party next door, and her parents invited to her party and hung out with the guy that ran the most popular company in Metro Detroit at that time. I could tell you, Family Heating and Cooling was the name, and it's still around. They're huge. And I just started talking to the owner, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to learn a trade?" And I was like, "Sure." Yeah, I mean, he talked me in. This was on a Saturday. By that Tuesday, I went to work with him, man, not knowing a thing, right? I mean, the guy I worked with, he said, "Sit on the floor and you're going to watch me." And I picked up his tools, swept the floor. I drilled a few holes for the line set, you know, and, and it just grew on me. So I walked into it completely by accident. And I fell in love with it, like the certain things I'd go in to start after a week, try gas piping, wiring, and then the sheet metal came last. And man, when I learned all that, by the time I was 19 years old in a few months, he turned me loose with the crew, and I was banging out furnaces and airs like every day, right? The repetition, you learn so much, and your speed. And man, I mean, I wished I could have had a phone back then for pictures. I mean, I used to have to call parts in, pull my van up to a payphone, and call the supply house and call my parts in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how old I am, right? It's
Well, I
crazy.
I started in '07, so like I had a conversation with somebody, because now I'm running into a lot of guys that are a lot younger than me, because I'm getting up there now. But I told them, I was like, yeah, back in the day, like I couldn't take a picture of, like, let's say I needed a part or a compressor or something. Now it's super easy. Now, like, my supply house has where I can text them and send the pictures. If I want to send it to the store, I can. I mean, I can also have the guy's number that I text and send him stuff. But that wasn't around when I started, right? So I could not take a picture of a part and then go and send it to somebody and get a part easier like that. I had to actually, like, do the work, and if I didn't know what I needed, or if I needed to get something to match up with it, like whether it's a TXV, a compressor, whatever it was, I had to take it out and take it with me to the supply house, right? And
Right.
actually be like, okay, I need this. What can we do for it, and all that. But back then, like, there was no sending photos. There was hardly any manuals online either. Like, it was like I was in that in between stage of
Sure.
where smartphones were coming in. I think the iPhone came out around that time,
Oh
and
gosh, yeah.
now it's a resource. You just
Everywhere.
pull out your phone, either Google something, or there's plenty of apps now that you can actually, even our supply houses. I use their apps all the time to look up parts, see what they have in
Yep.
stock, and see if I need to order it or whatever. So, like,
Sure.
now
Yeah.
it's nice and easy. You got everything on your phone.
Yeah, even like for, charging units. I remember walking in the house with a sling psychrometer, and people thought I was bringing nunchucks in the house, and, pulling my little card up and, charging them. Now you have like Blue On apps where if it's this temperature, this is where you're going to need. Like, man, that's what I always tell anybody I hire. You don't really, like me, when I was stumped, I called my boss, but now it's like the answer could be at your fingertips, right? And it's like,
And
and
yeah, and these manuals have like troubleshooting tips and all that, and then I mean, you can basically pull it up on your phone. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and like, even the what I would always take with me was a PT chart. So I always had that in my back pocket too, so I can do
uh-huh,
my conversions and how to charge a unit and all that. And now, like, I have an app that is just a PT chart, or I think even my supply house has it built into their app too. Like, there's different apps that have it. So I used
yeah.
to take one physically, and if I lost it or ruined it, I was screwed. I had to go, like, find another one at a supply house or something.
Knowledge is everything, right? And it's like,
Well, knowledge and knowing how to find the answer. That's what my dad always taught me. Like, if you can be somebody that can figure it out, or if you, like, he's like, if I don't know something, I'm gonna go and look and find the answer. So knowledge and being able to find the answer.
yeah.
So are you an actor?
There's a kind of a cool story to that. There was a girl I used to live next to, and she was graduating high school, and she used to babysit my kids, right? And they were little, and she was going to photography school in New York, but she needed to build a portfolio, right? So I kind of agreed to do um, a photo shoot with her to kind of, and I was one, it's totally something different for me. I'm the guy who wears jeans every day, and we kind of dressed up and took pictures down in Detroit. Well, little did I know she put them in, it went into a database, right? So back in, and that's that point. I'll get back to that in a second. So back in 1995, I worked for another company, and it was a father and son place, and I really enjoyed working for them. But I got a job offer in Denver, Colorado, so I had taken it and moved out there. It was booming back then, made good money. And then I lost touch with those guys, Tom and Dave, right? So I fast forward to taking those pictures. I got a call one day, and it was a guy, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come down and we're going to do a local commercial?" And I went down to the studio, and I'm reading the skit. They didn't tell me what it was. They didn't know what I did for a living. I'm reading the skit. And I was like, I'm going to play a heating and cooling guy. Like I go, that's what I do for a living. And the guy was like, "Oh,
Oh,
you're
so
a nat
that was just coincidental?
coincidental," and it gets even better, right? So I'm reading this skit, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna ace it, man! Like, trust me." And I had to play this heating tech, which I've done my whole life. And so when I'm reading the skit, this voice walks in the door, and I swear on my life, I knew that voice. I turned around, it was Dave that I had worked for, and I lost touch from 1995, right? And he goes, "Carlo Serafini," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like Dave," And he goes, "You're gonna play the heating tech for my company." So we reconnected like that, man. It was huge, and he's a big competitor actually here, and it's weird.
Oh.
I'm on their local commercials, and people they're like, "When did you go over to that company?" And I was like, "I'm not. It was just a coincidence." Even the guy I bought this company from, he one morning he came in, and he goes, I'll be darned, you were on my TV this morning, and I totally forgot. But yeah, I got to do that local commercial, and that opened up a couple little things where I got to play from there into like background stuff and all that. And time to time, I will get a chance
So
to play in
you
like
got
a
some
little local.
gigs after that?
Yeah, and it's like I just didn't have the time to do it. But sometimes it's like I might go back to doing it. It's kind of fun, man. To do a 30-second commercial took a week to film. I mean, it's shocking what goes into it, and you have to do makeup,
It's
hair.
so I was gonna say it's so different because like I mean honestly like I do my content, it's nothing, it's just me pointing a phone at stuff and doing my thing. I've done photo or video shoots for Jobber. Now I'm very grateful.
Sure.
They've been a great sponsor and they have me doing that, and I wanted to participate to kind of spread awareness, and then like they've been using the footage for different things. Now, when I went to, I think the one I went to was in Vegas. I had to do the whole makeup thing. I had to do the whole. We were in a warehouse, the whole setup. I had lights everywhere, people yelling at me. I was like, "This is very different." I was like, and you can tell in the footage because I think we were supposed to do something else, but we haven't done anything. That's like where they're pulling a lot of the clips from.
Hmm.
I look very scared, and I remember being very scared. And they're
Sure.
like, "Faster, faster, faster, say it this way, do this or whatever." I'm like, Jesus, okay. So it's
Sure.
very different.
It is, man. I mean, gosh, from driving the van out of that parking lot, like, nope, you got to go fast, a little slower, and the drone was running out of power. And I mean, how many times I had to grab the tool bag out of the truck, walk to the front door? I mean, it was probably like 16 times. Then they took a break and they were eating lunch, and I was just out there like, where are they at? And they're like, "Oh my God, we forgot about you." And they did a fake snow scene with bubbles, and they're all hitting me. And it was it's fun. So I kind of
Yeah,
not
it's a
say
cool
Hollywood's gonna knock on my door, but
it's a cool experience. Like it's something. I mean, everybody has like things that they like to do. So even for me, like being into content creation, stuff like that. It was cool to see a professional setup and all that. And then we had, I think there was a rain. I think it was raining when we did it. So being in a warehouse, we had to like take breaks to avoid the rain, like the noise and stuff like that. They were testing audio and doing all this other stuff. So I
Wow.
was just
Yeah.
sitting there, like doing whatever they told me to do, you know.
That's cool, man.
But
Yeah.
then, I mean, that's kind of cool with you too. I didn't. I was wondering if that was like somebody you worked, like a company you worked for that did it, or how you got into it, but you didn't even know you were playing an HVAC guy, or
I didn't
and
even
they didn't know that you were an HVAC guy, and then like,
I
bam,
didn't. It's weird. I mean, that story in my life, sometimes even some of my employees, I'd be like, man, I was like that. If it's going to happen, it'll happen to me. Like the weirdest circumstance, but it turns out to be kind of cool in the end. Right. So, um, that's fun.
definitely. I guess we can close on like if you have any advice for any of the guys out there starting out or looking to get into it.
I'd say, you get in, you're going to learn everything. I mean, the skills you're going to learn, you're going to own your own house one day. You can work on almost anything, plumbing, heating, wiring in it. So you're going to learn a lifetime of knowledge, and don't get frustrated in the beginning. I mean, everything takes time, right? Experience is the best teacher. Treat your customers, your employers, and your employees with, respect. This field is, it's really hard to recruit help. So, it's getting to be more and more needed with the technology out. You're going to be in demand, right? So, job security, I could say in 31 years, I've never, knock on wood, was ever laid off, right? So, I
Oh yeah.
always, so the work's there, the money's there. It's a lifestyle. It's a, like I say, it's a brotherhood. It's a camaraderie. Like, believe me, I mean, even going to stuff, like the tactical awards, I have so much respect for everybody in the industry, right? Like, I could sit there and talk to them all day, spread stories, and it's a great time, right? I enjoy those shows and the people you meet along the way, right? So, yeah, that's what I tell them. Get into it, stick to it, don't get discouraged, don't get too high. And boy, there's just chances. I never really would have thought when I started at 18 years old, from a kid that couldn't even put a wire nut on a low voltage wire, that I would own a company, right? So, just stick to it, right? And then, persistence and patience pays off in the end, right?
Yeah, I think you have to go through those struggles the first few years, right? Because I get questions a lot about like pay and this and that. I'm like, well, you got to get into it and you got to stick to it, like you said, and it'll pay off on the back end of your career, most definitely.
Absolutely.
And even me, I'm in a low market area. I wasn't getting paid that much. I mean, I worked for my dad. I didn't really want to bother him for a raise all the time. I was just good. I knew what I could afford. I wasn't trying to live a big lifestyle. But
Uh-huh.
I bought a house. I bought a few vehicles on a just a steady paycheck. That was my main thing. And like you said,
Absolutely.
you'll always have work. I mean, that's always out there.
Absolutely. You could always say, "Hey, HVAC paid for that," right? And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's cool, and it's like, I've been doing it 31 years. I mean, I'm 49. I just turned 49. I really don't see an end. As long as I feel good, you know, um,
And
in shape.
in some capacity because you could be out in the field for so long and if you can't do it, I mean, your knowledge is going to help the next group, So that's
Yeah,
always you can always contribute.
yeah, that's the thing. If I keep going on, I'd like to in the next five, maybe even before then, do a little consulting too, and help the companies that's maybe in the middle, and
Yeah.
give them directions and help them grow, because it's nothing more rewarding. to me than watching somebody or some company grow, right? It's just the passion you have for it.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on. Thanks for taking the time to sit down and chat. Like I told you, the hour flew by. It was great hearing about your story and all the things that you've done, man.
Absolutely appreciate it, man. Respect you a lot.
Thanks, man. Everybody watching and listening, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.